Hello there, and welcome back to the Sleepy Science channel. Tonight's quiet little corner of the internet, where we stroll through the mind's hidden hallways, like dreamy tourists with no map and no hurry. Within you lies a vast internal universe, a library made not of books, but of moments. Some shine like polished lanterns, crisp and vivid. Others flicker faintly, like stars half swallowed by distance. And then there are the dreams, those midnight improvisations your brain performs without permission, stitching emotions, fragments, and nonsense into stories that feel strangely personal. The world inside is both familiar and alien, like returning to a childhood home that somehow rearranges the furniture every night. Before you get too comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy wandering through these strange inner landscapes with me. And if you feel like sharing, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is. I love seeing how far these sleepy ripples travel. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a soft fan, and let's drift together into the silent architecture of memory and dreams. If these gentle explorations soothe you, feel free to like, subscribe, or whisper a single thought in the comments. Every small interaction helps another wandering mind find its way here. But for now, there's nothing you need to do except rest. Let your breathing slow. Let the day fall away. Allow the quiet pulse of these mysteries to cradle you as we slip deeper together into stillness. Every memory you hold began as nothing more than a tiny spark, a fleeting instant that stood out from the stream of thousands your brain filters each day. Think of your earliest memory, maybe a slant of sunlight through a window, the muffled rhythm of footsteps, the warmth of a familiar voice. That moment was once alive and present before time folded it gently backward into the archive of your mind. Scientists say we experience countless moments daily, yet only a small handful survive the brain's quiet selection process. The rest evaporate like morning mist on a warm road, gone almost the moment they appear. Why certain fragments cling while others fade remains one of neuroscience's most persistent riddles. Emotion seems to leave its fingerprints behind. Fear, joy, wonder they act like sticky notes for the brain, whispering, "Save this one." It matters. But even the loudest emotions don't guarantee permanence. Some of the most intense experiences blur at the edges with time, slipping into soft distortion. Meanwhile, an ordinary, uneventful afternoon can linger in crystal clarity for decades. Memory formation is deeply selective, deeply mysterious, and always unfolding beneath the surface of your awareness. Your brain is constantly choosing what to keep and what to let go, even as you sleep. Inside your mind, memories aren't stored in tidy folders or labeled drawers. Instead, they're scattered across vast networks of neurons like constellations whose stars live millions of miles apart. A single memory of your grandmother's kitchen may activate the visual centers holding the patterned tablecloth, the auditory areas replaying her laughter, the olfactory system guarding the warm scent of bread, and the emotional circuits wrapping it all in the soft glow of safety. When you recall that kitchen, these distant regions spark together, weaving fragments into a seamless whole. This architecture makes memories resilient if one part fades. Others may still carry enough threads to pull the scene back together. But it also makes them delicate. Because each time you remember something, you're not retrieving a perfect recording, you're rebuilding it. Slightly shifted, slightly colored by who you are today. This reconstruction happens through pattern completion, a remarkable process in which a small cue can summon an entire memory network. A single scent, a three-note melody, or the texture of old wood can unlock an entire universe of recollection, some accurate, some reshaped by time. Memories are stories we rewrite each time we open them. Living things, not frozen ones. Neurons that fire together wire together. It's a simple sentence that hides a profound truth. When you live through something meaningful, networks of neurons blaze in a specific pattern. If that pattern recurs, or if the moment carries enough significance, the connections between those neurons strengthen, forming what neuroscientists call a memory trace or an engram, a literal physical change in your brain. Every memory you hold is etched into the architecture of who you are, shaped by countless sparks firing quietly in the dark. Memories are like those old showboxes stuffed away in the attic full of treasures, but sometimes a little cobwebby and confusing. Each time we take a trip down memory lane, we don't just peek. We wind up unpacking and repacking all those cherished keepsakes. This process of reconsolidation can make memories feel fresh and vivid, but also susceptible to a little bit of redecoration. You know, like when you rearrange your living room and wonder why the couch used to be over there. Now, picture yourself at a family gathering reminiscing about times long past. You're sharing warm stories. But wait, did Aunt Martha really bake that gigantic chocolate cake? Or did you just dream it after a late-night snack? With each recall, you might accidentally tweak those memories, tossing in new flavors and details. This malleability explains why therapy can help people shift past narratives, like transforming those ugly kitchen curtains into a beautiful tapestry of resilience. Speaking of craziness, let's talk about those wacky false memories. Our brains are like imaginative little artisans who love to create shiny new stories, whether we want them to or not. Participants have been convinced they once got lost in a supermarket or even had a heart-to-heart with Bugs Bunny at Disneyland, except those events never actually happened. Researchers found that these tales felt real to the storytellers, crafted with the same zeal as true memories, complete with emotional sprinkles and sensory highlights. So why do our brains pull these fast ones? Sometimes it's a suggestion that sneaks in while we aren't looking, or a dream that felt incredibly vivid, which leaves through our memories, planting seeds of fabulous fiction. Our brains are not that different from a child's imagination. When we dream big, they contribute too. While some memories are as solid as a rock, our mind's creative flair alongside its preservation instincts ensures no memory is entirely trustworthy. Enter the quirky world of the Mandela effect. Picture this. Suddenly, a large crowd believes Nelson Mandela died in prison when he actually passed away years later. Just like that, people collectively misremember details like believing the Monopoly Man carries a monocle or thinking Darth Vader said, "Luke, I am your father." It's as if the brain, in its rush to make sense of everything, sometimes sweeps inaccuracies into a dustpan and tosses them into the memory dumpster. The roots of the Mandela effect often involve common sources of mix-ups or widespread misinformation. Those overlapping memories, like mishearing lyrics or confusing Nelson Mandela's timeline, occur because our brains create shortcuts, smoothing out the rough edges of our jumbled world. It's like trying to assemble IKEA furniture without instructions. You might end up improvising and attaching parts that just don't belong. Now, let's dive into the intriguing abyss known as childhood amnesia. Ever wonder where your toddler years went? You might remember your first day of school, but good luck recalling your first wobbly steps or the context of your first cries. Most of us blank out on these moments, starting to form real memories at around age 3 or 4. Despite those early years being packed with priceless experiences, milestones, and lessons on life. It's quite like filming a blockbuster movie but losing most of the footage before release. So much is gone, yet it shaped us into who we are today. Picture the tiny little human known as an infant, with a brain that's buzzing like a beehive, yet incapable of weaving stories together into coherent memories. That's because their memory systems are still in construction mode, and the all-important hippocampus, that superstar brain region responsible for turning experiences into long-lasting memories, continues to grow during those early years. Without this memory wizardry, it's no wonder your baby brain can't quite recall that time they met a baby goat at the petting zoo. Now, think about it. Before the age of 2, kiddos are blissfully unaware of their own existence. They're just little observers in a big, chaotic world. Things start to shift when they catch a glimpse of themselves in mirrors and excitedly shout at me, as if they've discovered some cosmic truth about themselves. This newfound self-awareness is like flipping a switch that turns on the memory machine, helping children form the personal storylines that will stay with them into adulthood. Talk about an evolution from clueless to conscious. Fast forward a few years, and around ages 3 to 4, children start to pack their suitcases with memories. While these early snapshots might be a bit jumbled like the contents of a teenager's bedroom, the richness and clarity of their autobiographical memories sprout and flourish as they grow. How parents engage in conversations plays a significant role here. By asking open-ended questions, parents can help little storytellers expand their narrative skills. It's like planting seeds in a memory garden, which, when nurtured, bloom into beautiful recollections. Once the teenage years roll in, boom, the memory system is now a fully operational powerhouse, capable of digesting information in glorious detail. This means kids can juggle sensory memories, emotions, and facts all in one neat package. It's a rather sophisticated operation, where memory isn't just a biological feat, but a social construction shaped by everything from bedtime stories to everyday banter. Who knew chit-chat could foster such complex mental structures? And let's talk about sleep, because it's doing way more than you might think. As soon as you nestle down, your brain transforms into a diligent librarian, sorting through the day's happenings. During deep sleep, it reviews highlights of the day, reinforcing connections like a boss and turning fleeting moments into well-planned headliner memories. No wonder students who actually get shut-eye after cramming for exams fare better. Who knew the secret weapon to memory retention was catching some ZS? Now, let's explore the different sleep stages. Every stage is like having a specialty chef preparing distinct memory recipes. Deep slow-wave sleep serves up declarative memories, the facts you can readily recall by sending information on a scenic route from the hippocampus to the cortex. Meanwhile, REM sleep kicks things up a notch, becoming the go-to stage for emotional memory and procedural learning. That's where your brain does its fancy work, integrating memories into your grand narrative, while those vivid dreams might just be your mind's quirky way of processing everything. Next time you close your eyes, just know your brain is hosting a memory gala, giving a little nudge to those learning skills and emotions that help you stay in check. Who knew that a mere power nap could turbocharge your memory? But wait, there's more. The magic really happens when your snooze fest includes slow-wave, REM sleep, or a delightful mix of both. There's no denying that the entire sleep cycle is like a VIP club for your brain, processing memories and keeping things in check. However, throw in sleep deprivation or wild sleep schedules, and it's like tossing a wrench in the works. Your memory doesn't just take a hit, it goes on vacation. Dreams are like your brain's musical chairs, full of memory fragments jumbled into bizarre tales. Picture this, you're back in your childhood home, but the bathroom is now the break room. Your third grade teacher is handing out deadlines at work. Flying? Sure, why not? It all seems normal until dawn smacks you awake. It's hilarious how dreams warp reality, yet they tap into your memories, making a mashup that's totally bonkers but feels oddly right in the moment. The creative chaos of dreaming. Some researchers posit that dreams are like your brain's brainstorming sessions, connecting the dots in ways you could never do while awake. When that snooze button calls, your logical brain takes a coffee break, giving your subconscious free rein. It's a brainstorming bonanza where unexpected links are made, perhaps even solving problems that you've wrestled with all day. Why let logic spoil the fun when a flying teacher could lead to a great idea? Then there's the emotional processing angle. Imagine this. You're exploring dreams where you literally fight your dragons or revisit unresolved feelings. The bed could be a battleground, or you may find yourself rehearsing for that big presentation with your high school swim coach cheering you on. It's a safe space to sort through life's emotional mess without judgment. Whether you're processing trauma or just untangling life's little dramas, that dream state does wonders. The continuity hypothesis adds another amusing twist. Dreams often mirror our waking lives. Someone juggling work stress is bound to dream about emails gone wrong, while heartbreakers might encounter past loves in strangely transformed forms. It's like your brain throws in random pinata characters, but the themes remain the same. We're not just dreaming nonsense. There's a subtle thread tying it to reality, a cheeky reminder of life's concerns under a layer of surrealism. Alas, blink and you might miss it. Most of those glorious dreams fade into the ether before morning rolls around. It's like they despise permanence. You could recall the last adventure but struggle to grasp earlier escapades, each slipping through your fingers like sand. Turns out, this forgetting isn't a blunder, it's by design. During REM sleep, your brain's memory-forming neurotransmitters take a backseat, letting you dream without cluttering your memory with the unthinkable. So there you have it. Dreams straddle the line between reality and imagination, hurling oddities your way while serving a purpose. They reflect our concerns and emotions in the dreamlike gibberish that can be entertaining or downright weird. Whether you're fighting off shadows or hurtling through space-time with a talking cat, those zany narratives carry fragments of who we are. It's a whimsical, messy, and profound experience that keeps us coming back for more nighttime adventures. Dreams, those delightful nighttime escapades, fully engage our emotions and senses when we're in them. They feel so real that you'd swear you were on a wild roller coaster or a fast-paced chase scene. However, once morning arrives, it's like trying to keep sand in your palm. Most of it slips away unnoticed. The vivid ones, the oddball adventures that refuse to fade, stick around only if you wake up just after experiencing them or if they're truly bizarre. Many dream enthusiasts resort to recording their dream escapades in journals right after waking. This ritual has a knack for revealing connections that you would otherwise overlook. It's like finding hidden treasure within your nightly adventures. As you jot down your dreams, common themes, symbols, and emotions surface. Surprisingly, this simple act can enhance your dream recall, training your brain to latch onto those fleeting slivers of nighttime narrative rather than letting them dissolve into thin air. Some particularly dedicated dream scribblers report that their dreams boost in vividness and coherence over time. Like fine wine, they seem to mature with attention, showing that your brain's tendency to forget dreams isn't set in stone. Instead, it responds to how much effort you put into remembering these nighttime narratives, evolving previous scribbles into a deeper, more colorful saga waiting to unfold. Speaking of evolving tales, dreams love to sprinkle in little bits of your waking life a phenomenon known as day residue. You might find yourself in last week's meeting, but instead of a boardroom, you're in space, discussing profitability with a banana-wearing alien. The connections may boggle the mind, but these bizarre alterations provide insight into how your brain processes what happens during the day, transforming reality into a surreal playground of thoughts. Now, let's talk about the fascinating world of lucid dreaming, where you get a backstage pass to your own dreams. For most sleepy heads, dreams are like movies playing out without their control. Yet, occasionally, something clicks. You realize, hey, I'm dreaming. This breakthrough brings on lucid dreaming, a state where you can fly, conjure up friends, outright battle your fears, or simply watch the shenanigans unfold like a curious spectator. Achieving lucidity isn't always spontaneous. Some folks master the art with clever techniques. They perform reality checks during the day, like pretending to push a finger through their palm, just to see if gravity's having a laugh. By keeping dream journals, you not only improve your recall but can also identify those patterns that'll have you chuckling at your nightly misadventures. But be warned, the balance during a lucid dream is surprisingly delicate. The narrative moves at its own pace, and too much conscious meddling can collapse the dream faster than a souffle in a thunderstorm, yanking you back to the real world or into a mundane dream state. Researchers delve into lucid dreaming to unravel the mysteries of consciousness itself. By tracking eye movements with electrodes in a lab, scientists can pinpoint the moment of lucidity, revealing just how our brains operate in this intriguing hybrid reality. Lucid dreaming is like a VIP backstage pass to your subconscious mind. The prefrontal regions, which are usually snoozing away during regular dreams, spring into action, letting you recognize that you're dreaming. Suddenly, reality is more of a suggestion than a fact. This delightful introspection leads to some heavenly philosophical debates. If you can be all self-aware while experiencing your head's dream factory, what does that mean about our waking lives? It's like the ultimate "is this real life?" moment. Philosophers and deep thinkers suggest our daily grind might just be one comprehensive, collective dream. Everything's sensory data, emotions, and perceptions merges into a swirling soup of reality. But what if lucid dreaming is just our brain's experimental lab, testing boundaries and outcomes? It's a philosopher's playground, where we can tumble through questions like what is reality, really? While feeling the thrill of flying or falling over the treetops. Now, let's dive into the mysteriously amusing realm of recurring dreams that tend to be pesky, like that one telemarketer you can't shake off. You may find yourself in familiar situations, being pursued by a demonized version of your ex, or tragically unprepared for an exam you didn't even sign up for. These dreams weave together our hidden fears, unresolved troubles, and those everyday stressors that keep us awake at night. Literally, our minds seem to be working overtime, rummaging through unresolved issues in a dream state. The intrigue doesn't stop there. As life unfolds, these recurring dreams occasionally shift gears. For instance, instead of cowering from your pursuer, you might gather the guts to turn around and confront them, reflecting newfound courage. Go you. But then there are those dreams that lock us in a suspenseful loop, stuck playing the same worn-out track of anxiety. Such dreams could contain messages we're yearning to lay bare, like a little note from our subconscious pleading for attention. Across the globe and through time, we can find similar dream themes popping up everywhere, a quirky yet comforting concept. Falling, flying, being chased like some ping-pong ball in life's drama, these experiences transcend geographical and cultural boundaries. They touch upon core human experiences and basic fears, like loss of control or yearnings for freedom. It's as if our brains have a universal playlist of worries, and everyone seems to press play on the same tunes. Looking through the evolutionary lens, it's thought these common dreams were once practical drafts to prepare our ancestors for real-life social struggles or dangerous scenarios. Even if we're now more worried about missed emails than saber-toothed tigers, those ancient instincts linger in our psyche. Our brains are still wired to be alert to threats, which explains why we chase after our worries in dreams. Thank you, evolutionary design. Finally, we can't overlook nightmares, the sadistic little gremlins that invade our peaceful sleep. Children seem to attract these dark little critters more than adults, often conjuring imaginations powered by monsters and shadows lurking in the corners. Thankfully, most kids seem to find their way to calmer dreamscapes as they grow up. Of course, adult nightmares can still drop in uninvited. After all, no one is entirely safe from fear's whimsical grasp and the peculiar, vividly terrifying world of dreams. Nightmares can be the uninvited guests that crash our slumber parties, especially for adults dealing with stress, trauma, or major life upheavals. Picture this: you're juggling deadlines, worrying about that promotion, or feeling the pang of loss. Then bam! You're having dreams about flunking an important test, losing your keys, oh the horror, or even reliving unbearable events. For some, these nightmares become a pesky routine, dragging their emotional baggage into the light of day, making mornings feel a bit less sunny. In an ironic twist, these nocturnal terror trips might serve a purpose. They could be the brain's way of practicing its kung fu against imaginary monsters, all while we snooze safely tucked in bed. The brain's dysfunctional algorithm helps us confront fears, gently diluting their grip over time. Yet, when these nightmares turn into frequent fiends, they can mess with our sleep and mood faster than you can say bad dream, contributing to a delightful concoction of anxiety and sleep deprivation. You could say it's a finely tread line between dreams that skillfully help us cope and those that mercilessly lay siege on our rest. Now, not all nightmares are cut from the same cloth. Think of post-traumatic nightmares like those remixed songs that just keep replaying the chorus. Unlike your average bad dream that flits between symbolic narratives, post-traumatic nightmares are like those pesky pop-ups that keep rehashing the same traumatizing script night after night. They're the brain's way of wrestling with the big, bad experiences we struggle to dream away, representing a key symptom of PTSD that can clench its jaws with fierce intensity, causing people to avoid sleep altogether. Talk about a frightening cycle. For those fighting the nightmare battle, there's a saving grace in the form of therapies like imagery rehearsal therapy. This method is like a dream director's cut, allowing individuals to rewrite their nightmares during the daylight hours. By adding a twist ending that's a little less horrifying, people can mentally rehearse these new narratives until they become the star of their own show. It's like giving the brain a fresh script to follow, proving that even nightmares, like bad movies, can be edited into something bearable. Dreams aren't just solo acts, though. They're a concert benefiting from the environment surrounding us. Our senses are a bit sneaky, bleeding into the dreamscape from our waking world. That light drizzle from the rain, it could morph into a dramatic waterfall in dreamland, while that chill in the air might turn into a frosty mountain scene. I bet you've also woken up thinking that beeping alarm was actually a persnickety phone call. Such blending of dreams and reality showcases how our dreaming brain artfully mixes available information to mold its narratives. Researchers have thrown in their 2 cents on this phenomenon, exposing slumbering participants to distinct stimuli and then asking about their vibrant dream lives. They typically find the stimuli sneak into dreams as if they're diplomats with a mission. A mere splash of water could transform into a full-blown rainstorm, while an innocuous tone might morph into the delightful sound of a doorbell. The dreaming brain deserves a standing ovation for its creative prowess, transforming sensory tidbits into captivating narratives loaded with imagination. Now, aside from spontaneous dream parties, there's also the whimsical realm of hypnagogic and hypnopompic experiences. These are the enchanting interludes between the conscious and the dream world, like the signal hiccups you get when trying to tune into your favorite radio station. When you're transitioning to sleep, hypnagogic experiences bring vivid hallucinations, while waking up kicks in the hypnopompic experiences, each filled with curious sights, sounds, and sensations. These transitional states are not just sleep filler. They're a fascinating performance of the mind, illustrating how the boundaries of sleep and wakefulness blur into a dreamlike dance. Imagine dozing off at night, and suddenly, the world of dreams takes over. You're floating, watching faces dance and geometric patterns spin. Yet, just as you're about to dive deeper, something startles you awake. It's the infamous hypnic jerk. A little gift from your sleepy brain that jolts you, leaving you both amused and bewildered. As you slide between the realms of night and day, reality flexes its muscles, reminding you how ridiculous it can sometimes be. Then there's sleep paralysis, the party crasher of the sleep world. You find yourself wide awake but completely unable to move. Your brain's buzzing, fully conscious, while your body remains blissfully unaware. Panic ensues. The weirdest part? You might start hearing strange sounds or even have a creepy feeling that someone's lurking nearby. Welcome to the bizarre circus of sleep, where your mind tries to craft a story around the madness, often inventing wild narratives like sleep paralysis demons or even bona fide aliens visiting for a midnight chat. Here's where it gets interesting. Cultures around the globe have defined these sleep sensations differently. From the old hags sitting on unsuspecting victims' chests to tales of incubi and succubi, folklore has no shortage of spooky interpretations for this experience. All are simply the mind's attempt to explain the unspeakable, creative yet terrifying spectacle brought to life by your frazzled neurons. Talk about a nightmare cycle. And while we're talking about mind tricks, let's not forget about déjà vu, that curious phenomenon that sneaks up on you. You stroll into seemingly ordinary surroundings, yet there's an eerie sense that you've been there before, maybe even in another life. It feels like your brain hitched a ride on a time machine, and you're left feeling both nostalgic and confused, even if the moment is totally new. What's more, your brain could be playing tricks because of a little glitch in processing. When one part kicks into gear before the other, it creates a little hiccup, making your current experiences feel like dusty old memories. Imagine your brain throwing an impromptu familiarity party when all it should have invited was brand new sensations. Just a classic case of memory mischief. Other theories suggest that déjà vu is like flipping through a scrapbook of past experiences, albeit one you can't quite place. You might encounter a glimpse of a forgotten memory brought to life by a fresh situation, leaving only a tantalizing sense of familiarity without the specifics. Your hippocampus steps in like a detective, sensing the vibes but failing to produce any concrete evidence of the event. So, the next time you float into the world of sleep, get caught in paralysis, or feel that mind-boggling déjà vu wash over you, know you're not alone. It's just your brain throwing a festive, slightly chaotic celebration of consciousness, where each experience is a part of the wondrous, mysteriously complicated realm of the mind. Déjà vu is a curious little gift from our brains that plays tricks on us. It reminds us that the line between what we remember and what we perceive is as thin as a piece of tissue paper. Imagine strolling down the street and suddenly feeling like you've walked this route a million times. In reality, it's your brain throwing a false positive, creating a moment where time feels jumbled. Oh, the mischievous ways of our minds. On the flip side, there's jam vu, which sounds like something you'd say in a confounded tone when you see a word that suddenly looks like gibberish or a familiar place that feels alien. You could be warming up on your couch 1 minute, and the next, you're left wondering if that lamp really belongs there. Not as common as déjà vu, it's equally perplexing and leaves you with a sense of displacement that really knocks the wind out of your routine. Now, imagine your brain is an elaborate library, meticulously categorizing each experience with memories like books on a shelf. When the system hiccups, even the most familiar items can seem eerily out of place. Enter semantic satiation. It's the wild ride where you repeat a word so much that it becomes an absurd collection of syllables that loses all meaning. The brain's power to create familiar feelings hinges on remembering, and when that goes haywire, you might just question everything around you. Let's get to the heart of the matter. Scent. It's like the VIP pass to our memories. Unlike sights or sounds, smells dive straight into our brain without detours, sending signals to the hippocampus and amygdala, the emotional hotspots of memory. One whiff of pine can launch you back to childhood holidays filled with sparkle and wonder. Imagine feeling that childlike joy again at the scent of a Christmas tree. It's nostalgia in its finest form. And then there's the pee effect, where a cookie dipped in tea can awaken memories you didn't even know were waiting to be recalled. This phenomenon shows how intertwined our senses are with recollection. Smells can unlock memories we never knew existed. That perfume of a long-lost love? Suddenly, it's like they've materialized right next to you, creating an emotionally charged flashback that feels both surreal and vivid. Speaking of vividness, let's chat about flashbulb memories. They're the brain's way of snapping a picture with an intense emotional backdrop. Picture this: you hear some shocking news, and boom, your mind captures every detail: who you were with, what you were doing, even the scent of the coffee in your cup. These pivotal moments imprint themselves in our minds like snapshots, shimmering with details long after they fade from experience, making them feel different from everyday recollections. But here's the twist. Studies suggest that just because these memories seem so vibrant doesn't mean they come with a guarantee of accuracy. While we believe they're etched perfectly in our minds, it turns out they can be just as flawed as any other memory. Turns out, emotional highs don't always mean crystal clear records. Now that's a surprising turn. You thought you were reliving a moment truthfully, only to discover that your mind's eye has its own mysterious editing process. What a roller coaster ride through the wonderland of memory. Memories are a funny thing. People can swear by their recollections, yet when you stack them alongside real records, discrepancies pop out like daisies in a cement yard. Details often dance around like a group of mischief makers, leaving behind a trail of confusion. Despite this whimsical behavior, folks hold onto their memories with the conviction of a lion claiming its territory, insisting they're spot on even when faced with cold hard facts. Isn't that just rich? Take the unforgettable events of September 11th, 2001. The so-called flashbulb memories sculpted from emotional intensity left many in a memory haze that felt more vivid than life itself. In the aftermath of those harrowing days, researchers dove into the memories of everyday people, gathering stories about where they were, what they were doing, and how they reacted when they first heard the news. Most participants narrated their experiences with such assurance you'd think they were reading from a flawless script. But wait for it. Fast forward a few years, and you'd be startled by how much their accounts morphed over time. Fast forward this natural experiment, and those once definitive narratives showed a magical transformation. Core elements that once took center stage in their stories had vanished like socks in a dryer, while shiny new details popped up out of nowhere. Surprisingly, the participants clung to their altered tales with the same fervor. Even when presented with their earlier written accounts that told a different story, they'd stand their ground. That's right, they just wouldn't budge. You'd think that with all this emotional fervor, their memories would be as solid as a rock, but alas, they were as elastic as a trampoline. Flashbulb memories, although intensely felt, are not immune to the familiar tricks of the memory trade. The process that reshapes our everyday memories also applies to these supposedly unique recollections. Cue the reminder that our recollections are crafted anew each time we dig into them, not merely accessed like some pristine old recording stored in our brain's archives. How does the brain do this? With the finesse of a skilled artist, it reconstructs memories from snippets and fragments like a puzzle missing half its pieces. Unfortunately, this reconstruction isn't a perfect science. Instead, it's a kaleidoscope of your current mindset, beliefs, and feelings. So, the next time you recall that epic childhood event, remember that each time you do it, your brain makes it a little fuzzier, like making a photocopy of a photocopy, where each version brings its share of wobbly edges. This phenomenon, called reconsolidation, can keep memories fresh for those you seldom revisit, like precious old photographs in a dark drawer. Yet, those memories might also be more vulnerable to fading, like a forgotten postcard in the attic. And that's the kicker about memories. They're notoriously unreliable, leading to hiccups in eyewitness accounts, quirks in family retellings, and changes to your own past without you even catching on. Confident memories? They can be as dodgy as a concept artist's sketches. Then come those sneaky little things called leading questions, waiting to pounce during recall sessions. They can twist and turn our memories like a magician with a deck of cards. In a classic study, participants watched a car accident, only to find their recollections altered based on how questions were posed afterward. Ask how fast the cars were going when they smashed, and witness the reported speed skyrocket. As if that weren't wild enough, those who heard the word smashed were more likely to insist they saw broken glass. Spoiler alert, there was none. Memory might feel like a tidy story we tell ourselves, but it's really just a patchwork quilt of the past. Leading questions in interviews can lead to unexpected consequences, often causing memories to morph into something they weren't. It's a bit like playing a game of telephone, where the original message gets warped and twisted along the way. This little quirk of human cognition has major implications for courtrooms and therapy rooms alike. One moment of suggestive phrasing can implant false memories so convincingly that witnesses feel absolutely certain about events that never happened. Isn't it wild how easily our minds can be misled? We tend to see forgetfulness as a major flaw, like a computer malfunctioning. But what if it's really a feature? Forgetting helps our brains sift through the noise. Can you imagine retaining every single detail of your life? You'd be drowning in a tsunami of data, swimming through a sea of menus and faces with no clue what's important. Forgetting is the brain's way of symbolically spring cleaning, making sure that only the essentials remain in our mental attic. It's a delicate balance of remembering what we need and discarding what we don't. In fact, the process of forgetting has its perks. Think of it as emotional first aid. Those painful memories fade over time, letting us heal from old wounds. When the past becomes a distant memory, it allows us to focus on the present and future without the weight of yesteryear dragging us down. The brain has a built-in mechanism to clear out aged information that might clutter up our current thinking. Imagine trying to remember which number to call for a pizza if you had all your old phone numbers floating around your brain too. Some scientists even think our brains are more active in their forgetting than we realize. Instead of just letting memories fade passively, it's like we have a mental librarian strategically deciding which memories should stay on the shelves and which should be tossed into the recycling bin. This isn't just disorganized chaos. There's a purpose to the process. Our mind thrives on a curated collection of experiences, helping us focus on what's truly meaningful. Now, don't get too jealous of those who can remember almost everything, a condition known as highly superior autobiographical memory, HSM. While it may sound like a dream come true for trivia nights, many with HSM struggle with the sheer volume of memories. Imagine being unable to forget your most awkward moments. Instead of feeling liberated, they often find themselves overwhelmed by a deluge of memories, from minor annoyances to major heartbreaks. Moving forward can feel impossible when the ghosts of the past refuse to be laid to rest. Their experience confronts us with a crucial truth. Healthy forgetting is essential for emotional resilience. It's not just a charming quirk of the human mind, but a fundamental mechanism that helps us grow. The ability to let go unlocks the door to healing, while an unrelenting memory can make it feel like time stands still. Those with a more ordinary memory experience may discover that forgetting is what clears a path for new opportunities. After all, sometimes, in the tapestry of life, the ability to forget is one of our most important threads. As we age, our memory may start to change, but that doesn't mean wisdom is lacking. Transience can usher in a deeper understanding of life. While we might struggle to recall someone's name at times, our life experiences continue to enrich us. The blend of remembering and forgetting cultivates insights that make us who we are, and in this dance between the two, we find the beauty of being human. So here's to our quirky memories, enjoyable, flawed, and perfectly imperfect. As we stroll down the winding road of aging, our memory can sometimes resemble a quirky roller coaster. Picture this: you walk into a room, completely blanking on why you ventured in, or you fumble when trying to remember the names of acquaintances from last week's gathering. Episodic memory, that cunning little rascal, tends to weaken as we age. And the challenges keep coming. It can feel like trying to win a game of memory with a pile of mismatched cards. But wait, there's good news swirling around. While our ability to recall specific events may take a nosedive, other cognitive treasures remain intact or even skyrocket. Ever heard of semantic memory? That's where your knowledge of facts and vocabulary struts its stuff. In fact, older adults often bloom with richer vocabularies and smarts than their younger counterparts. So, who's a certified brainiac now? It's a delightful twist in the aging narrative, indeed. And let's not forget the all-important wisdom that comes with age. As we gather experiences like badges of honor, our understanding of life deepens. Imagine being able to discern patterns and gain insights from different scenarios. The wisdom that grows from solving countless problems turns into a goldmine of context and nuance. So, while we might lose the ping-pong prowess of quick recall, we trade it in for the soulful depth that only life can teach us. Now, here's where things take an interesting turn. Our brain is like a master puzzle solver with a knack for improvisation. Even when one memory system starts to stumble, others can swoop in and save the day. It's as if your brain has a backup plan for a backup plan. 4-stroke patience, This adaptability can mean the difference between silence and speech, thanks to the revelation that new brain areas can step up to the plate during recovery. In terms of enhancing memory functionality, mental workouts can work wonders. Engaging in activities that challenge your noggin, coupled with social interactions and acquiring new skills, can give your memory a splendid boost. Think of this process as making a delightful cognitive reserve. It's like building a sturdy dam to hold back the flood of decline. Aging isn't a one-way street. It's more like a dance that invites you to keep moving and grooving. Emotion, too, plays a dazzling role in memory, transforming mundane moments into vibrant recollections that stick around like loyal friends. Ever wondered why you can vividly recall your first kiss or that gut-wrenching news you received years ago? Well, emotions signal to our brains that certain experiences are worthy of preservation. It's like having a built-in highlight reel, with joy, fear, surprise, and grief adding a splash of color to our mental scrapbook. So there you have it, folks. Aging may come with a few memory puzzles, but our brains are resilient little wonders. They adapt, learn, and respond to our life experiences in extraordinary ways. Each laugh line and grey hair tells a story, a fun tapestry woven with both the highs of sharp recall and the depths of hard-earned wisdom. Embrace it all and keep those cherished memories piled high. Memory, it's the wild roller coaster ride of life. We think we're holding on to the truth, but emotions often take the wheel and steer us into the sunset of nostalgia or the deep, dark valleys of anxiety. You see, feelings have a sneaky way of decorating our memories, adding glittering embellishments or sometimes downright distorting what actually went down. An event becomes larger than life. Whether it was dramatically exciting or fear-inducingly terrifying, it becomes a lively blur of how we felt, rather than what really happened. Now, here's where it gets even more fascinating. Stress doesn't just strut around as some villain in the memory realm. It can also play the role of an unexpected ally. Picture this: a bit of stress during learning can tune your brain like a high-quality radio, enhancing memory formation. It's those stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, that help etch those wild moments into our brain so clearly, like when you narrowly dodged a rogue soccer ball. But crank up that stress too high, and you might find your hippocampus getting a little too frazzled to remember the simple stuff, like where you left your keys, again. Chronic stress is the uninvited guest that lingers way too long at a party. It keeps the cortisol flowing and turns memory retrieval into an obstacle course. Ever sat for an exam so anxious that your brain felt like an awkward blank space? That's a classic case of retrieval-induced forgetting, where you know the answers, but they seem to flee the moment you need them most. Timing plays its own mischievous game too. Stress right after learning might be great for locking those memories away, but right before or during retrieval, not so much. The sweet sting of nostalgia. It's like your brain's personal artist, painting over the past with rosy hues. Who doesn't love a little reminiscing about those seemingly endless summer days or deep friendships that touched the moon? But, spoiler alert, this memory editing can be misleading. We often forget the mundane or tough bits, crafting a sentimental history that makes us yearn for times that may not have been all that grand when we were actually living through them. It's memory dressed up for a gala, a true work of imaginative art. Despite its enchanting facade, nostalgia has a knack for playing tricks on us regarding reality. Sure, it's heartwarming when you feel all fuzzy and nostalgic, but keep that artist's brush away from important historical details. Those good old days? They weren't always so sparkly. They're just the mind's way of dealing with chaos, of turning real life into a storybook filled with happy endings and significant moments. We weave these narratives to feel a sense of belonging and continuity, even if the precise details get dressed up along the way. Moreover, memories aren't just solitary, they're social. Humans, being the storytelling creatures that we are, form collective memories, those shared narratives that stitch communities together. Whether it's a cherished cultural tradition or memories of great historical events, these collective recollections shape our identities and values. Such memories can range from monumental achievements to the heavy weight of shared traumas, showcasing how memory is not just personal but also a vibrant tapestry connecting us all through time and experience. In the end, whether it's the bittersweet lure of nostalgia or the wild ride of stress-induced memories, one thing's for sure: our memory and emotions are tighter than a pair of well-fitted jeans, inseparable and always influencing how we view our world. So when life throws a curveball, remember to, figuratively, take a snapshot of it all, because in this fascinating dance of memory and emotion, every vivid detail contributes to the delightful mess of being human. Collective memory is the glue that holds communities together, woven through stories, rituals, and monuments that are passed down through the ages like a family heirloom. It gives us a sense of belonging, connecting us to our ancestors and traditions, much like an old-fashioned quilt stitched with love and history. Each stitch tells a tale, creating a rich tapestry of shared purpose that shapes how we view ourselves and our role in the larger world. But let's face it, memory is a bit of a diva. It loves to pick and choose how things are remembered. One group may raise a toast to a heroic victory, while another might be nursing a grudge, recalling the event as a tragic loss. These competing narratives are like a family fight at a holiday dinner. Everyone remembers it differently, and tension simmers beneath the surface. This subjectivity shows that our collective memories are colored by perspectives shaped by power, values, and a sprinkle of drama. Imagine waking up one day with a blank slate, no memory of who you are or where you came from. It's a wild and terrifying ride into the unknown, and for those with severe amnesia, this is a daily reality. Their personal history, relationships, and even their favorite food become mere ghosts, leaving their identity in pieces. Without the stories that define us, we risk becoming strangers to ourselves, like walking into a mirror maze and losing track of which way is out. And, oh, the layers of memory reveal fascinating quirks. Someone might forget their name but can still perfectly demonstrate how to bake a cake. It's like having amnesia but being an inadvertent baking expert at the same time. These cases show that memory isn't a one-size-fits-all system. It's more like an intricate puzzle. Some pieces may be lost while others remain intact. We have procedural memory for skills and semantic memory for facts. But when episodic memory, the one with personal experiences, goes poof, things get confusing. Then there's the astonishing story of Henry Molsom, known mostly as HM, which flipped neuroscience on its head. After surgery to treat his severe epilepsy, HM was left with profound amnesia. He couldn't form new long-term memories, so every day was a brand new adventure. He could have a conversation, but minutes later, bang, he'd forget who he was talking to, like a forgetful goldfish in a sea of memories. But don't feel too sorry for him just yet. While memory loss was indeed a tragedy, his case became a treasure trove for researchers. They discovered that while HM could no longer create new long-term memories, his personality and intelligence were intact. He still knew how to chat, reason, and even learn new skills. It turned out the hippocampus, the brain's memory-making superstar, is essential for long-term memories but not for short-term ones, leading to groundbreaking insights into how our minds work. HM's journey didn't just end with his surgery. He became a scientific VIP, participating in research that expanded our understanding of memory. His life was a paradox, forever living in the present while leaving a lasting impact on the future. He was a reminder that even through the fragments of memory, there's a larger conversation about identity, existence, and the beautiful messiness of what it means to be human. Imagine a researcher who, no matter how many times they meet new scientists, feels stuck in a perpetual déjà vu. They're like a character in a sitcom, a quirky personality contributing to global knowledge about memory without ever adding a personal touch to their own story. This curious paradox reminds us that the more we dive into memory, the more we might discover, especially during sleep when our brains are on a creative roller coaster. Sleep isn't just a break, it's a problem-solving boot camp. Throughout history, dreamers have had eureka moments in their sleep. Think of chemist Auguste K. Coulet, who dreamt of a snake biting its tail, leading him to visualize the benzene ring. Or Paul McCartney, who heard the entire melody of Yesterday in a dream. And let's not forget Elias Howe, who invented the sewing machine after dreaming about spears with holes. Sounds like a bizarre game of what if gone right. Here's the kicker. Scientific research backs up these anecdotal claims. Studies reveal that when folks take a brain teaser to bed, they often wake up with fresh solutions. It's like having a brainstorming meeting, but with a comfy pillow instead of a boardroom. The secret sauce? REM sleep, which kicks logic and linear thinking to the curb, allowing our dreaming minds to frolic freely through a field of wild ideas, creating unexpected connections like a master puzzle solver. Ever tried solving a Rubik's Cube with a blindfold? That's what our conscious minds do when we get stuck on a problem. But the dreaming mind? It's like an agile ninja leaping across rooftops, finding solutions that elude the waking brain. Controlled studies have shown that people who indulge in REM sleep after learning a new task perform better. They become pattern-finding ninjas, capitalizing on hidden rules and intricate designs their waking selves couldn't grasp. The magic happens in our brains during REM sleep, a flurry of activity in areas tied to vision, emotion, and memory, while the logical prefrontal cortex takes a chill pill. This lack of restraint leads to a jigsaw puzzle of thoughts where unrelated ideas can spark a creative wildfire. Probably why we wake up buzzing with fresh insights on nagging issues, honing a newfound perspective on life's little dramas. And then there's the cycle of sleep. It's like a well-choreographed dance. The first act is a slow-wave sleep spectacle, where deep and restorative sorcery unfolds, our bodies mend while memories of facts are consolidated. As the night unfurls, REM periods join the show and intensify. In those pre-dawn hours, the brain is all about dreaming, integrating emotions, and cramming for the day ahead. Disruption in this sleep choreography can put a wrench in the gears. Waking up too early is like skipping dinner. Major meals of thought processing are missed. Late nights or abrupt wake-ups can throw off this precious cycle, leaving essential stitching of the memory and emotional fabric all frayed and undone. So maybe set that alarm a tad later. Your dreams could be up to some serious work while you snooze. As the curtain rises on the stage of your slumbering self, a complex performance unfolds, orchestrated by the brain's evolutionary prowess. This intricate choreography isn't just for show. It's all about optimizing your restoration and memory consolidation throughout the various states of consciousness during the night. But beware. Sleep deprivation pulls the curtain on this grand production, leaving your memory in a frazzled mess and your emotions flying off the handle. Not getting enough shut-eye means your vibrant memories might as well be written in disappearing ink. When sleep skedaddles out on you, memory formation takes a nosedive, and learning becomes an uphill battle. It turns out that sleep is like a magical filing cabinet for your experiences, ready to neatly organize and store them away. Those all-nighters? Yeah, they often yield worse results than a well-rested study buddy, because without sleep, all that knowledge you crammed in won't stick. Instead, it flits away like a squirrel at the first sign of danger, and poof, there goes your A+. But the chaos doesn't stop at memory, it spills over to your emotional regulation with the gusto of a toddler throwing a tantrum in a candy store. The amygdala, your emotional alarm bell, turns into a hyperactive gremlin, while the prefrontal cortex, the cool-headed adult, takes a backseat. The combination creates a recipe for emotional mayhem where even tiny annoyances feel world-ending. You might find yourself sobbing over a coffee spill like it's a life-altering crisis. Yep, sleep deprivation really puts the fun in dysfunctional feelings. The marathon of sleeplessness doesn't just sabotage your mental abilities, it also wreaks havoc on your health. Chronic sleep deprivation can link arms with a dumpster fire of issues like depression, anxiety, and even obesity. It's a cocktail recipe not worth trying. When you're light on sleep, navigating your daily life feels like doing a three-legged race with a broken shoelace. You'll feel perpetually lost, as though the world has thrown on a pair of foggy glasses, making everything harder to process. Now, picture this. Half your waking hours are spent drifting in thought, your mind taking unplanned detours like a car lost without GPS. Sometimes you're driving but mentally parked at last week's trivia night. Or you're in a conversation but reminiscing about your last meal. Researchers have coined this phenomenon stimulus-independent thought, and while it might sound like a fancy term, it's actually a clever mental acrobatics act. It's your brain's way of planning, problem-solving, and sorting through the emotional jumble of life without getting tangled in the present moment. And yet, too much mind-wandering can be like a wild roller coaster of thoughts that gets out of control, especially when negativity takes the driver's seat. This excessive rumination can derail your well-being and performance faster than a speeding train. It's all about finding that sweet spot, staying focused when the task at hand demands it while allowing your thoughts to float freely in other moments, helping you learn and prepare for everything that life might throw your way. Enter the default mode network, the brain's secret society of thought. This magical network lights up when your mind is just hanging out, taking a break from the busy world. It plays a prime role in activities like self-reflection, planning for the future, daydreaming, and connecting dots between experiences and relationships. Discovered in neuroimaging studies, this network's revelation that the brain can be positively buzzing when it seems idle highlights the intricate and surprising nature of our mental life. So, the next time you find yourself staring into space or forgetting what you just read, remember you're not just zoning out. Your brain is hard at work, rehearsing an epic play of memories, identities, and future plans, all in the name of making sense of your beautiful, chaotic life. Embrace the wandering. It's all part of the grand scheme of learning and living. Researchers have been buzzing about the default mode network and its role in our lives. It's like the director behind the scenes, helping to weave together memories, experiences, and that grand tale of you, the one that defined your childhood ambitions, those awkward school days, the heart-stirring first kiss, and all the moments that made you, well, you. So, the next time your mind drifts away, just remember, it might be busy crafting your personal narrative rather than simply daydreaming about pizza. Mind-wandering is often treated as a pesky distraction, like that one friend who can never stick to the subject. However, in reality, this wandering mind is a productive sort. It works in a unique mode that digs deep into memory serves. Whether it's reliving a cherished day or organizing the jumbled events of your life, it becomes an important aspect of who you are. This isn't just mental meandering, it's your brain methodically stitching together the fabric of your identity. Autobiographical memory. That's the hefty tome where all the pivotal events of your life are catalogued, from your first awkward school performance to that time you bravely attempted a triathlon, just to impress everyone. This collection is far more than mere facts. It is the narrative that you shape over time. It filters out the mundane and throws a spotlight on what truly constitutes you, the highs and lows that create the tapestry of your existence. What's fascinating is that this autobiographical memory isn't just a dull archive. It's a selective gallery showcasing the snapshots of your life that align best with your current self. Some might say it's a little self-serving. It's like a personal PR campaign that glosses over embarrassing moments while amplifying your triumphs. This clever curation of memories helps you see a seamless connection between who you were, who you are, and who you might still become. Psychologists have discovered that folks with a rich trove of detailed memories tend to have a more coherent sense of self. On the flip side, those who've suffered damage to their autobiographical memory often grapple with their identity, feeling like a ship lost at sea. It's eerie to think our consciousness hinges on this ability to weave a narrative, showing that we aren't just living in the now. We are, in fact, time travelers shaped by our past experiences. Life narratives aren't static, they flutter and dance as we age and change, much like fashion trends. Goodbye, cargo shorts. Events may morph in significance over time, A heart-wrenching breakup in your 20s could become a badge of resilience by your 40s. Turns out, psychologists reveal that we edit our life stories with the finesse of a blockbuster director, crafting new meanings and insights that blend seamlessly with our journeys, allowing us to grow while staying true to ourselves. This continuous narrative reconstructing means your past is like an ever-evolving script. Each chapter can be revisited, reassessed, and rewritten as you navigate the passages of life. The reminiscing child you once were may watch those formative years through a very different lens as a middle-aged adult. It's as if every stage of life invites you to reconsider, adding layers of meaning and richness you never knew existed until now. Lastly, memory biases add a splash of watercolor to your carefully crafted life portrait, messy but in a beautiful way. We all want to remember ourselves accurately, but let's face it, our memories aren't always reliable. Consistency bias is a cheeky little trickster that makes you think you've always been the outgoing, fabulous person you are now, even when you were a shy wallflower back then. It's all part of maintaining that coherent sense of self amid the whirlwind changes life throws your way. Egocentric bias, darling, is like a VIP pass we all wear in the concert of our lives. It allows us to strut and remember ourselves as the star of every show, taking credit for every success while scrambling to dodge the blame for our epic fails. You know, oh, that victory? Totally my genius. But that disaster? Must have been the universe conspiring against me. This cognitive sleight of hand helps us plant our egos firmly in the soil of self-esteem, even if it, at times, means rewriting history just a tad. Then there's hindsight bias, that cheeky friend who insists they saw the punchline coming all along. You know the type creating a narrative that makes everything seem preordained. I knew they were going to break up, they say, even while biting their nails during the dramatic romance. This delightful distortion whispers sweet nothings in our ears, leading us to believe we've got time-traveling powers when really, we were just as blindsided as a deer caught in headlights, an entertaining delusion if you ask me. Change bias crashes the party next, strutting around claiming, look at me, I'm practically a brand new model. After therapy or a life-changing event, we tend to exaggerate our transformations. I'm a totally different person now. It's like bragging about being a butterfly after shedding our caterpillar self without acknowledging that, deep down, we might just be a moth with better fashion sense. Now, let's talk about confabulation, the mind's sneaky bard, spinning tales even when the truth is having a nap. When memory decides to play hide and seek, our brains step in to fill those gaping holes with savory bits of imagination, and trust me, the stories they come up with can be wild. Picture someone recounting a lavish dinner they never attended, or swearing they were at work when in reality, they were tucked snugly in a hospital bed. It's all about keeping the narrative juicy, even if it means serving up an entree of fabricated memories. While we're at it, source monitoring is like memory's backstage pass, allowing us to discern where our thoughts and experiences are coming from. But guess what? Many of us misplace those passes. We might think we witnessed something, only to realize it was just a vivid daydream. Or worse, claiming to invent an idea that we actually read online after a late-night scroll fest. Our brains can be notorious taggers, but sometimes those tags get lost in the shuffle, turning our memories into a delightful mess of confusion. So here's the kicker. False memories can feel as legit as the cash in your wallet. As emotions flare and details swirl, the brain might decide that a vivid image is enough to convince us it's real, regardless of whether we were present or not. This leads to a delightful blend of truths, half-truths, and a sprinkle of fiction, making us question what's real and what's just a pesky figment of our imagination. Pattern recognition is the grand maestro of this orchestral mess, making connections that help us understand and predict the world around us. Our minds are innate detectives, sleuthing through experiences and stitching them into fabric that forms our understanding. It's all part of memory's essential toolkit, orchestrating a symphony where past experiences predict future actions. The brain's relentless pursuit of patterns shows us that navigating memories is a playful dance, a chaotic yet charming waltz between reality, imagination, and a little sprinkled drama. Picture your brain as a seasoned weather reporter, always predicting the next big event. You've seen dark clouds roll in before, and you'll confidently tell your friends, "Grab your umbrellas, rain is on the way." That's your brain's pattern recognition toolkit, past experiences morphing into future predictions. Your mind cleverly matches current scenarios with those logged away in memory, whipping up expectations like a chef concocting a signature dish. Despite its predictive prowess, the brain's forecasts aren't foolproof. Cue the surprises, those delightful curveballs that throw a wrench in your expectations. When a sunny day suddenly turns stormy, your brain gets a learned moment, tweaking its prediction recipe. These surprises are like learning spices. They enhance your ability to whip up more accurate forecasts next time. Each unexpected twist becomes a memorable lesson, fine-tuning your worldview one delightful mishap at a time. Now, let's unravel the intriguing tale of semantic and episodic memory. Imagine semantic memory as a giant library of facts. You know Paris is the capital of France, and that water likes to freeze at 0 degrees Celsius, but you don't remember the exact moment you discovered these nuggets. On the flip side, episodic memory is your personal scrapbook, teeming with vivid moments. You can easily recall the thrill of learning to ride a bike, complete with the wobbles and the scrapes, while also knowing, deep down, that bikes generally have 2 wheels. Those curious kiddos. They are like sponges, soaking up semantic information like it's the most delicious thing in the world. They learn language, social etiquettes, and all those nifty rules we often take for granted. Yet, adults keep adding to their library too, albeit at a slightly slower, more complicated pace. It's like trying to fit in new books amongst a crowded shelf. Sometimes, quirky neurological quirks can even scramble these memories, revealing how fascinating and distinct these memory systems truly are. Now we venture into the land of procedural memory, where skills snuggle comfortably beyond the reach of conscious thought. Remember your first wobbly bike ride? Every tiny pedal felt like a major challenge. Yet, with repetition, it became second nature. Your brain, particularly your cerebellum and motor cortex, clinically stores these movements, transforming them from cringe-worthy clumsiness to effortless prowess. Suddenly, riding a bike is less about concentration and more about breezy enjoyment. This magical memory doesn't just include physical skills, either. It's your ticket to effortlessly reading, typing, or jamming on an instrument. Imagine you've lost explicit memories, yet you can still dazzle everyone with your dazzling guitar skills like a rock star. This is procedural memory working its charm. Famous patient HM exemplified this. His brain might have forgotten the entire lesson, but the muscle memory was still sharply intact, enabling him to flourish in tasks he had no recollection of learning. Finally, let's peek into the bustling workspace known as working memory. This nifty area of the mind is where temporary thoughts and actions come to life. It's like your brain's kitchen countertop, where ideas are chopped, mixed, and prepped before they are either used or pleasantly stored away for later. This little nook is crucial for multitasking, like juggling phone calls while simultaneously composing that witty, riveting email. So next time your brain predicts the weather or recalls a delightful moment, remember it's a playful dance of memories, keeping things lively and entertaining. As you're soaking in these words, your brain is buzzing with activity, using working memory to juggle information like a circus performer. It's the clever little workspace where your mind computes everything from remembering who you just called to tracking 2 conversations at once. Double points if you can solve a math problem while keeping a straight face. However, don't get too cocky. Working memory can only juggle about 3 to 5 chunks of info at a time before it starts dropping balls, leading to those classic "wait, what was I saying?" moments. Now, don't confuse your working memory with long-term memory. The latter is the mega storage house where you've stashed away memories for days, years, or even decades. Think of it as an infinite warehouse of your life's greatest hits, while working memory is like a sticky note. Super handy for a moment, but once you stop paying attention, poof, it disappears faster than your snacks at a party. Working memory is essentially your fleeting companion for reasoning, learning, and all those brain gymnastics we tackle daily. Enter the hippocampus, the unsung hero of this cognitive saga. Shaped like a seahorse, this vital structure wriggles in your brain's temporal lobe and is the magical gatekeeper for your long-term memories. When you have an experience worth remembering, like that bizarre dance-off last weekend, the hippocampus helps stitch together the sights, sounds, and emotions into a neat little package called an episodic memory. Think of it as the index card for your brain's library, helping you find those memories when you need them. But watch out. If your hippocampus gets damaged, it's like your personal librarian took a vacation, leaving you unable to form new long-term memories while your old ones just chill happily. This little seahorse is on a mission to enhance spatial memory too, ensuring you don't walk into a wall instead of the door. It's got place cells that fire up whenever you're at a specific spot, shaping a mental map of your adventures. So, don't forget to thank your hippocampus next time you navigate the treacherous aisles of the supermarket. Now, let's get to the good stuff: memory consolidation. When you first experience something new, it's like a newborn baby memory, all squishy and unsteady. But don't fret, through consolidation, it toughens up over hours and days, becoming stable enough to stand on its own. This magical process often happens during your beauty sleep, when your hippocampus plays back the best moments from your day, helping integrate them into your mind's intricate network. And who knew? Even while you're just lounging around, your brain can still be crunching through new memories. Interestingly enough, those stout, consolidated memories can have a flashback phase when you recall them again, turning them a tad fragile. This phenomenon, known as reconsolidation, lets you remix old memories, kind of like a DJ at a wedding flipping your favorite track. Some treatments for PTSD actually tap into this reconsolidation process, allowing individuals to alter the emotional responses linked to their memories while adding in fresh perspectives or experiences. Talk about a remix for the heart and mind. So, while your working memory is the party planner of your immediate thoughts, the long-term memory is the soulful ballad of your experiences. The hippocampus orchestrates the whole affair, ensuring your memories move seamlessly from short-lived moments to cherished lifelong tales. Next time you chase a thought or try to recall a name, remember the funky little dance your brain is doing behind the scenes, showing off its incredible coordination skills like a pro. Memory isn't just stored, it's like a bustling library where books are constantly being shelved, rearranged, and occasionally rediscovered. Ever found yourself in the midst of a tip of the tongue moment? You know that word exists in your brain. Maybe it's got a friendly S or a chic two-syllable beat. But alas, it eludes you. It's like trying to catch a butterfly with a butterfly net full of holes. This amusing phenomenon highlights how memory isn't some neat little box, but rather a chaotic collage of facts, feelings, and sounds, stored away in random compartments. Imagine knowing a word's definition while straining to recall its pronunciation, or remembering you're supposed to know someone's name, yet drawing a complete blank on who that someone is. It's like having the perfect recipe but forgetting the key ingredient. What's tricky is that the full memory might just pop into your mind later when you're off doing something else, like making a sandwich, because your brain loves to play hide and seek with those elusive memories. Then there's the power of context, which plays a huge role in how we recall memories. Ever walked back into your childhood home and been swept away by scents and sounds that spark long-forgotten stories? That's context-dependent memory at its finest. Our surroundings, like sights, sounds, and even that musty old smell, become intertwined with our memories, acting as magical keys that unlock our past. Thus, cramming for exams in the very classroom you studied in can work wonders, thanks to those familiar cues lurking in the corners. Let's not forget about the mood factor. State-dependent memory suggests that if you snag a new piece of knowledge while feeling sunny and cheerful, you might just find it easier to recall when you're back in your feel-good vibe. This quirk extends to all sorts of things, like caffeine jitters or your post-yoga Zen state, reminding us that where we are mentally influences how we access those precious memories. It's a double-edged sword. While we're grounded in these rich sensory contexts, it can lead to brain freezes in unfamiliar environments and contexts. Priming takes things one step deeper. Without you even realizing it, your memories are constantly influencing your behavior thanks to this sneaky little phenomenon. So, picture this. You see the word yellow, and then boom. You spot banana faster than you can say potassium. Your brain is all too eager to connect the dots between associations, making your thought process work like a well-oiled machine. Say you read some words about grandma's knitting circle, and next thing you know, you're strolling slower than a tortoise. Moreover, if you're flashed an angry face for a millisecond and not even aware of it, you might find yourself judging an innocent situation with a frown. It's like your brain's hired a mood ring as a bouncer for your memories, keeping everything in check without you even knowing. Through priming, memories quietly shape our perceptions, often without us realizing we've been nudged onto a different emotional wavelength. In the end, memory is a playful yet challenging game. Whether it's remembering that elusive word, tapping into the magic of familiar contexts, or getting nudged unknowingly by primes, our brains dance around memories in a quirky blend of chaos and precision. So next time you find yourself momentarily befuddled, just remember, your brain is a busy little bee, buzzing around, gathering nectar from the wildflowers of yesterday, always on the lookout for a sweet memory waiting to blossom. Memory is a tricky business, largely powered by magic we didn't even know was happening. Ever find yourself reaching for your phone when boredom strikes, or flinching at a dog you can't quite remember being scared of? That's your implicit memory doing its job, cunningly influencing your reactions, feelings, and decisions without you even giving it a second thought. It's like your brain has a stealthy assistant that keeps track of your experiences, shaping your perceptions like a mold in a quiet workshop. So, let's dive a bit deeper into this mysterious world of implicit memory. This clever little character pops up every time something gets emotionally lodged in your psyche. For instance, if a dog gave you the scare of your life as a kid, all you might remember is a vague feeling of unease. Yet, there you are, feeling anxious every time a dog wags its tail. Talk about a memory that knows how to leave a mark without any fanfare. And those times you automatically reach for a seatbelt like a superhero doesn't even come with a memory of your first ride, it's just a well-learned habit. Intuition is another sneaky sidekick of implicit memory. You know those gut feelings that steer you towards a choice without you breaking a sweat. Your brain is constantly on the lookout for patterns from past experiences, giving you vibes of rightness or wrongness as if it's in on some cosmic joke. Who knew that our instincts and personality quirks are often the result of cliffs of memories unbeknownst to our conscious minds? It's the stealthy influence of experiences shaping our very identity, all without a shiny invitation to the party. Now, reckon you're familiar with the conscious effort it takes to recall events or facts. Welcome to the land of explicit memory, where every detail demands your brain power. When you consciously dig through the archives to remember where you parked, get breakfast details right, or recall what's in that deep stack of trivia, you're engaging with explicit memory. This type requires focused attention at the start and a little effort when it's time for retrieval. It can also get flaky, competing with distractions that cause memory lapses. It's a battle out there. Aging and brain damage can complicate matters. An individual might lose the knack for forming new explicit memories and yet dance their socks off at the local karaoke night, having picked up muscle memory without a clue of how it all started. Just ask HM, who could master tricky tasks without recalling a single practice session. This sheer divide between explicit and implicit memory helps shed light on how we seemingly know more than we realize. It's intriguing how we can do stuff without a backstage pass to past learning events. Let's not forget a charming tool from our memory arsenal, the memory palace technique. It's a mental game we've played for eons. Picture your childhood home or a familiar route, and as if you're a sneaky architect, you stash away facts and info in specific nooks and crannies. To remember later, just take a leisurely mental stroll, and voila, every memory awaits you where you tucked it away. It's like hunting for treasure without ever leaving your cozy couch. Why does this memory palace work so marvelously, you ask? Simple. Spatial memory is a superstar in our brain's hit list, and it's a trait we've honed through evolution. Understanding where to find food, dodge dangers, and locate our cozy home has helped humanity since the dawn of time. Pack that with a bit of clever visualization, and you've got a linguistic labyrinth to traverse whenever you need to recall the details of your life. Memory may be invisible, but it's certainly got some potent muscle behind it. Memory has a quirky way of working, like an ancient GPS for your brain. Picture this: memory champions, those wizards of recall, use something called memory palaces, a fancy term for attaching abstract info to specific locations. You could think of it as stuffing your brain's attic with souvenirs linked to events, turning your clutter into a well-organized exhibit. When information is anchored to places within our spatial narratives, it becomes a cozy part of a larger network, allowing memories to flourish. Now, let's talk mnemonic devices, the superhero sidekicks of memory retention. Beyond memory palaces, these nifty tools abound. Have you ever relied on acronyms to save the day, like Holmes for the Great Lakes or Roy G. Biv for remembering rainbow colors? Or perhaps you've belted out a childhood jingle, cementing that ad in your mind for eternity. Rhymes and songs are like catchy tunes that stick in your brain, making information memorable. Chunking is like that friend who helps you organize your closet, turning long numbers into bite-sized, manageable units. It embraces the idea that fewer, related pieces are easier to work with than a chaotic jumble. The PEG system, with its cheeky rhymes and vibrant visuals, provides hooks for your memories. These techniques transform random facts into meaningful patterns, enhancing your brain's ability to reach for the right information quickly. Guess what? Memory is not just a static thing. You can actually pump up your memory game. One strategy that's all the rage is spaced repetition. It's like planting little memory seeds at increasing intervals, allowing them to grow strong roots over time. Studying in bursts, like reviewing after one day, then 3, and so on, yields way better retention compared to cramming. Why? Because each retrieval strengthens the memory trail, turning it into a well-trodden path in your brain. But here's the kicker: cramming the night before an exam might help you sprint through short-term memory, but it's not winning any long-term memory awards. Spaced practice might feel awkward and clunky initially, like learning to ride a bike with training wheels. However, this strategy leads to a treasure trove of lasting knowledge that truly sticks around even when you think it's taken a vacation. Now, let's not forget collaborative encoding. It partners with your thought process to make memory even stronger. Imagine diving deep into material, rather than skimming the surface. Engaging with concepts by relating them to what you already know, asking questions, and coming up with personal examples cultivates richer memory traces. Trying to remember someone's name? Picture it, think about its meaning, and conjure a vivid image outshining those plain old repetition techniques. In a nutshell, the art of memorization is all about connections. The more you connect one memory to another, the easier it becomes to retrieve. So, ditch the isolation and weave a web of associations that will turn forgetfulness into a rare visitor. By exploring these quirky techniques, you'll be well on your way to unleashing your inner memory maestro, ready to recall numbers, names, and all the juicy details that life throws your way. Isolated fragments of information are like socks in the laundry, easy to lose and hard to find. However, when you weave those tidbits into your existing knowledge network, they become easily accessible through various pathways. The magic ingredient? Elaborative encoding. When you put in the effort to connect new knowledge with what you already know, retention and understanding skyrocket. Think of it as building a memory highway in your brain, with information zooming freely. Testing yourself is also a better retention strategy than simply trying to memorize material by rereading. Imagine plowing through your notes, only to realize it's like running on a treadmill, lots of motion, but no movement forward. Instead, taking a quiz or attempting to recall what you've learned can elevate your cognitive game. Even if you bomb your self-test, no worries. The act of retrieving the information, especially when it leads you back to the correct answers, is like an adrenaline boost for your brain. It might seem odd, but trying to recall details feels tougher than flipping through a textbook. Rereading gives a warm, fuzzy feeling of familiarity, deceptively cozy. That familiarity doesn't mean you can pull the info from your memory later. Instead, testing reveals what you genuinely know and boosts those mental connections. Flashcards are brain bouncers, forcing you to retrieve info, while practice problems trump just hanging out with examples. So, when you wrestle with a summary from memory, know that your grey matter is getting a fabulous workout. Sleep and exercise also play superstar roles in memory formation. You might have heard that sleep is essential for consolidating memories, and honestly, skipping it is like trying to run a marathon without training. Disastrous. Prioritizing a good night's rest is vital for cognitive function. And when it comes to blood racing through your brain, exercising is the best cheerleader. Physical activity not only stimulates neuron growth, but also keeps your mind sharp. Even a short jog can temporarily kickstart recalling memories, no magic wand necessary. But remember, it's not just about sweat and slumber. Stress, social interactions, and nutrition also impact memory. Chronic stress can mess with your memory like a pesky gremlin, causing chaos in your hippocampus. Employing relaxation techniques and engaging with your pals can protect your precious brain power. Plus, a vibrant social life seems to work like a memory shield, contrasting against the solitude that dulls cognitive function. Let's dish about nutrition. While there isn't a magic food to catapult your memory into the stratosphere, a balanced diet rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats is like fertilizer for brain health. On the flip side, indulging in processed foods can lead to cognitive decline. So, load up on omega-3s, antioxidants, and B vitamins. They really put the zing in your brain function and keep those memories fresh. Finally, let's not forget that memory isn't just a brain game, it's also about culture. Across different regions of the world, how people remember and recount stories can vary widely. For instance, in Western individualistic cultures, personal experiences often take center stage. Children's earliest recollections in these areas often focus on their own feelings and stories, while different cultures may emphasize community experiences. Memory is, without a doubt, a beautifully woven tapestry that involves both biology and the rich threads of cultural experiences. In Eastern collectivistic cultures, memories often revolve around relationships, social roles, and shared experiences. For children, early recollections frequently spotlight family events or roles within a group, highlighting the significance of community. Contrast this with Western cultures, where parents often quiz their kids with elaborate questions about their day, encouraging long-winded tales that spotlight their feelings and individuality. This cultural twist on memory reshapes how kids perceive the world around them. Interestingly, parents in various cultures scaffold memory differently. While Western parents may emphasize personal narratives, others might focus on embedding moral lessons and social standards into their children's memory fabric. This focus can mold memory to fit collective values rather than individual experiences. So, while one child recalls a wild family road trip, another might reflect on their responsibility to support and honor their family unit, creating different shades of memory and storytelling. Language plays a pivotal role in how memories are constructed and recalled. The words and concepts available in one's tongue influence both perception and memory categorization. For instance, different languages may track time in unique ways, leading speakers to remember events with a twist. This variation means that while memories seem like universal treasures, they're actually polished by the cultural contexts of our upbringing and linguistic background, changing memories into varied colors and hues. Prospective memory, that elusive little rascal, centers on remembering future intentions. While we often dwell on past recollections, it's equally, if not more, crucial to remember future tasks. This isn't just about retrieving a forgotten past. This is about remembering to take your meds, attend that important meeting, or send that email. When prospective memory fails, the results can be unnervingly humorous or downright disastrous, like walking into a room only to remember you don't remember what you came for. It can be maddening when you forget simple tasks, and prospective memory blunders happen to the best of us. Forgetting deadlines, or walking away from a task with your mind blank can feel like your brain is playing tricks on you. The frustrating part is that most of the time, the intention is nestled in your mind, but without a nudge from the universe, it just floats away out of reach. Our brains are like those old school aliens that sometimes freeze, the info's in there. It just needs a push. To tackle these pesky memory lapses, people often whip out tricks to help future-proof their remembering. Setting alarms, creating lists, and devising quirky habits can turn lapses into laughs. Need to call a friend? Pop your phone on top of your shoes next to the door. By crafting aids, you can transform your intentions into actions, alleviating the guilt trips your memory lapses might trigger. Prospective memory has two main flavors: time-based and event-based. The former involves remembering to do things at specific times, like taking your daily vitamin at 3 p.m. This can feel like a balancing act on a tightrope while juggling flaming torches, especially amid life's chaos. The latter type is generally easier, where routines cue your memory, like mailing a letter when you see a mailbox. It's all about that perfect synergy between events and intentions, but both can become trickier with age or stress. Understanding these memory categories not only helps one strategize, but also adds a glimmer of humor to the daily struggles of life. Alarms and distinct placement are key for time-based memory, while event-based cues often just require a little creativity, like leaving a reminder in a conspicuous spot. Imagination and memory are intertwined, like a best friend duo, sharing the same brain space and paving the way for a memorable life full of ups, downs, and plenty of laughs along the journey. Our brains are fantastic playgrounds of activity whenever we stroll down memory lane or take a peek into what's ahead. Those quirky regions like the hippocampus and the default mode network? They light up like a Christmas tree when we reminisce or daydream about the future. This overlap indicates that memory and imagination are essentially best buddies, each tapping into a shared mental toolkit. Remembering isn't just about dusting off old files. It's about piecing together bits and pieces into a coherent picture, as if assembling a jigsaw puzzle without the lid to guide you. Making up interesting future scenarios is not all that different from remembering past escapades. Just like a chef snatches ingredients from the pantry, your brain pulls available experiences and knowledge to whip up a tantalizing future dish. When folks have issues with memory, it's like their imagination crashes. Not enough memories to stir the pot, so future possibilities turn into a hazy soup. Imagine planning your next adventure with half the ingredients missing. Talk about a bland experience. This partnership between memory and imagination screams creativity. While imagination conjures up a buffet of possibilities, memory transforms fragmented snapshots of our past into compelling stories. Our minds are always busy building, whether they're constructing vivid recollections of last Saturday's shenanigans or pitching epic future experiences. It's like a never-ending movie where both the past and the future have their own dramatic flair thanks to the same brain cells working overtime. We practice mental time travel like pros. This unique ability allows us to rewind and relive our favorite moments, then fast forward to preview our plans. It's part of what makes us human. The interconnectedness of episodic memory and imagination means we don't just learn from our past, but also get to strategize for the future. Why repeat that cringe-worthy mistake when you can simply remember it and avoid a repeat performance? Animals might grasp lessons from experience, but we humans take it up a notch. Mental time travel lets us reflect on past blunders and brainstorm better tactics for upcoming challenges, all while surfing the safety of our cozy brain waves. Imagine casually sidestepping pitfalls because you remembered the last time you tripped over them. Talk about smooth sailing. This mental wandering is so effortless that we sometimes overlook how phenomenal our minds truly are, zipping through time before breakfast. But hey, with great power comes great responsibility. This mind-bending ability, while cool, sometimes drags along friends like worry, regret, and overthinking. Yet, the perks are colossal. We navigate life with planning, foresight, and impactful learning experiences that a one-track mind just can't achieve. It's like having a built-in GPS for your brain, helping you reroute around life's tricky twists and turns. Now, let's talk about why our early childhood memories are like trying to dig up a relic in a sandcastle. That childhood amnesia stems from various factors, like our developing brains still getting their act together. The hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, vital for locking in memories, are still in the process of growing. As kids, our neural machinery isn't quite up to snuff, which is why adults remember things so much better. Language development is also the key here. As kids learn to talk, they gain the superpower to encode experiences in words, crafting narratives that stick like glue. But those pre-verbal moments, they may be stored differently in our minds and can fade when verbal skills rise to dominance. We also need to consider self-awareness. Without a consistent sense of self over time, those early memories run the risk of disappearing into the ether. So, this childhood amnesia is a complex mix of development that leaves a fascinating gap between what we've lived versus what we recollect. And let's not forget the reminiscence bump, a golden time for young adult memories overflowing like a cornucopia of life experiences. As older adults take a delightful stroll down memory lane, they often stumble upon a treasure trove of experiences from their teenage years to early adulthood, specifically between the ages of 15 to 30. This phenomenon, affectionately dubbed the reminiscence bump, is like a nostalgic playlist that plays the catchy hits over and over. Scientific studies reveal this pattern is universal, showing that everyone loves to relive those unforgettable life moments. From first loves to first jobs, it seems the drama of youth is hardwired into our very memories. The key players in this memory opera are those monumental firsts. You know, the first crush that made your heart race, the first job that finally put some dough in your pocket, and the unforgettable day you fled the nest. These emotionally charged experiences are like fireworks sparking in your brain, creating a vivid and lasting impression that's hard to forget. It's no wonder they hold a prominent place in our mental archives. They're basically the highlights of the show. Moreover, this dynamic phase of life is where many individuals carve out their identities. It's the moment when you sit down and say, "Who am I really?" Establishing your values, beliefs, and how you fit into the world is pivotal. The memories from these formative years become the fibers of your self-concept, intertwining into the very fabric of who you are. It's like composing the ultimate theme song that resonates with who you've become over the years. Young adulthood is also the stage where we begin crafting the narratives that define our lives. Choices about partners, careers, and aspirations become the threads woven into our life stories. With cognitive abilities firing on all cylinders, we're primed to capture these experiences with greater clarity. The memories formed during this time aren't just entertaining anecdotes, they serve as benchmarks for future life choices and pathways. Interestingly, recalling these tales often comes with a sense of order, like an expertly plotted novel. Rather than a monotonous list of events, we frame our experiences into chapters replete with definitive turning points that demarcate our lives. Think of your life as a book, with chapters that highlight relationships, jobs, and life stages as we navigate through the twists and turns of our individual plots. It's all about making sense of it all amidst the chaos of daily living. Now, let's dive deeper into the delightful twists of storytelling. The narratives we create can either lead us down the path of redemption or drag us through the muck of contamination. In redemption sequences, we transform adversity into triumph, a broken heart morphs into personal growth. Conversely, contamination narratives can leave us dwelling on the dark clouds that disrupt an otherwise sunny day. Studies show that those who lean toward redemptive storytelling often enjoy better mental health, as positivity tends to usher in a greater sense of purpose and joy. But fear not. These narrative patterns can shift and evolve. Through therapy or life experiences, we have the power to reframe our stories. A job loss becomes a launchpad for new opportunities rather than a stamp of defeat. By recognizing the patterns in our past, we unlock a treasure map that leads us toward resilience and growth, helping us craft a narrative that is not just about what happened, but how it can empower us for the future. Ultimately, the stories we tell shape our understanding of the past and mold our perspective for what lies ahead. By playing with memory and embracing these narratives, we can write the future chapter of our life story, ensuring it's filled with laughter, resilience, and meaning. Because in this grand screenplay called life, we have the reins to determine whether its themes are all about rising from the ashes or lingering in moments of despair. So, let's choose our narrative wisely. Memory has its quirks. It's not a rigid entity, but a muscle that can be flexed with practice. With the right techniques like utilizing memory palaces or mnemonics, you can amp up your recall abilities. Think of it as memory magic. Tackling things like elaboration and spacing learning over time helps in encoding fun facts or critical tasks right into your brain. Who knew remembering could be such an engaging sport? Mindfulness is a game changer, too. It's funny how the smallest slip-ups often boil down to a lack of attention. Ever misplaced your car keys and had a mini meltdown? You weren't losing your mind. You were just busy thinking about dinner. Being fully present during experiences helps to solidify them in memory. Yummy meals taste better when you savor every bite, and heartfelt conversations stick when you're genuinely listening. Attention is the VIP pass to a robust memory. Technology wades right into the memory game, but it's a double-edged sword. With smartphones and cloud storage, we rely less on our brain power and more on digital tech. Want directions? Google it. But here's the catch. Reliance on this tech can lead to fuzzy internal skills. Studies reveal that if you're heavily dependent on GPS, your brain may just forget how to navigate sans technology. It's like training for a marathon, but only running on a treadmill. The Google effect. It's a real thing. Instead of memorizing juicy bits of trivia, we now just remember where to find the info. Oh, I know it's in my notes on that cloud thingamajig. It's efficient, sure, but imagine what happens when the Wi-Fi fee goes down. Finding a balance between external aids and your inner memory vault is key. After all, you don't want to become completely dependent like a fish out of water if technology takes a sad turn. Speaking of capturing memories, photography has completely revolutionized our recollection game. You snap a picture, and voila, you've got a clear memory of what went down, way more vivid than a hazy brain jog. Those captured moments transform into robust retrieval cues, dredging up nostalgia and feelings you might have lost along the way. Looking through old snaps can send you on a time-traveling adventure, reliving moments that are colorful and rich. Even with these powerful technological aids, it's essential to remember how vital it is to engage our inner memory. Photos aren't just pixels, they act as portals to past experiences. Yet, while we may let shiny devices take some of the mental load, nurturing our brain's capabilities is crucial. By finding ways to balance our reliance on tech while honing memory skills, you can enjoy a bountiful brain and an organized digital life. So, while you might not aim to be a person who memorized pi to 100 digits, a bit of effort in understanding how memories form and how to enhance them can lead to a treasure trove of recall. A sprinkle of mindfulness, a dash of technology, and the right strategies can make your memory not just functional but phenomenal. You've got this because memory may have its limits, but together we can stretch those boundaries beyond their wildest dreams. Research indicates that snapping photos can sometimes muddle the memories of those very moments, a phenomenon known as photo-taking impairment. When you're busy framing the perfect shot, you risk missing the essence of the experience as it unfolds. Your focus shifts from soaking it all in to getting that Instagram-worthy pic. Later on, you might recall the image but not the actual event, making the photo the memory and not just a delightful reminder. In addition to reshaping memories, photographs can create false ones. Ever flipped through family albums only to find faces or moments you can't place? Those images can craft pseudo-memories, making you feel nostalgic about days you've never actually experienced. It's wild how seeing those happy family gatherings can sparkle a memory you've never had. So while snapping away sounds tempting, it's wise to consider how these moments truly stitch the fabric of our memory. To navigate this tricky terrain, being selective about when to whip out the phone could be a game changer. Instead of snapping 500 pictures at your best friend's wedding, try mingling. Focus on living in the moment. Later, during a cozy review of those photos, let them serve as a bridge back to your experiences, reinforcing your memories without overshadowing them. Finding balance is key. It's all about capturing some moments without robbing yourself of the sweet joys of direct experience. Looking ahead, memory presents a double-edged sword. It's both a challenge and an opportunity. We're facing a rising tide of memory-related disorders like Alzheimer's as we age. While scientists are decoding the mysteries of memory on biological and neural levels, translating that understanding into effective treatments has proved to be trickier than trying to fix a jammed printer. Meanwhile, exciting advances are afoot with cognitive apps and even potential meds designed to enhance memory. And then there's the futuristic dream of brain-computer interfaces that could one day allow us to directly record or enhance memories. Now that raises some eyebrow-raising ethical dilemmas, doesn't it? Imagine wondering what makes a memory authentic or challenging the essence of your identity. One truth shines in this exploration. Memory isn't a static vault. It's an ever-evolving masterpiece open to interpretation and reinvention. Embracing that malleability helps us tackle memory problems in innovative, psychological ways. As we've navigated through the quirks and wonders of memory and dreams, we've discovered that forgetting is just as vital as remembering. Sometimes, the most potent moments are those that elude our recall yet shape us nonetheless. The mind, vast and filled with a melange of experiences, constantly reconstructs the past, weaving in a rich tapestry of who we are. Each day, the mind sifts through memories, blending them into the narrative of ourselves. So, as you relax and let these thoughts drift away, picture your memories not as burdens but as gentle lights flickering in the distance. Allow your body to sink deeper into your space, releasing tension with each slow breath. Feel the rush of comfort navigating your muscles, cradling you in calm. As consciousness dips into a still haven, your vibrant memories rest like stars, quietly illuminating your journey through time and transforming your nights into magical realms filled with possibility. Picture each star within you as a tiny spotlight, shining gently on who you are, a dazzling inner constellation, twinkling softly with the promise of stories yet to be told. They're there, twirling quietly in the dark, waiting for their moment in time. No urgency here. These faithful guardians are like your personal backstage crew, ready to help you shine when the curtain rises again. As you relax, let those stars take a backseat while you embrace the cozy embrace of sleep. Picture them drifting off into the background, just like you are, as the line between wakefulness and dreaming begins to blur. It's a bit like watching a fog roll in, isn't it? One moment you're wide awake, and the next, thoughts start to flutter away like shy butterflies as your mind takes a well-deserved break. Now that your conscious brain has tangled a bit with the day's work sorting, planning, remembering it's time to wave goodbye to those pesky thoughts. Let them float off like autumn leaves on a gentle breeze. You're not in a rush. Dive into the soothing waters of sleep, where dreams bubble up and weave their magic. It's like having a backstage pass to the most peaceful show where healing and creativity are in full swing. In this dreamy realm, you're cradled by the comforting rhythm of your breath. It's as if the darkness is your plush blanket, inviting you to snuggle in and drift away. Just imagine, there's no agenda, no to-do lists following you into slumber. All those memories, plots, and plans, they can take a short vacation while you recharge for tomorrow's adventures. Still awake? If you'd like, feel free to check out that next video. But let's be honest, if your eyelids are feeling heavy, they're practically begging for a rest. You've earned this moment of peace. Surrender to the gentle pull of sleep, close your eyes, and inhale deep breaths, letting the weight of the day slide off your shoulders like a well-fitted jacket. As you give in to the sweet embrace of sleep, imagine your dreams wrapping around you like a soft, warm cocoon. The peaceful silence mesmerizes, and consciousness fades away like a whisper in the wind. There lies just the gentle darkness, a realm where revitalization flourishes, and your body gets the tender care it craves after a long day. Your memories will be right where you left them, waiting for you when you wake up. Meanwhile, your dreams are eager to unfold, bubbling up just for you. So, for now, lean back and let the serene descent into sleep wash over you. Embrace the calm, the stillness, and the promise of a good night's rest. Sweet dreams await.